Today I've got a brand new type of light from Thrunite. I've been using their flashlights for a long time, but recently, like a lot of the other what I'll call quality flashlight manufacturers, have decided to get into headlamps. A lot of typical headlamps that you'll buy at camping, hiking stores like REI are plastic ones like this Black Diamond, and they're good. I took this one to Nepal with me, it worked well. But the flashlight manufacturers are starting to get into these tougher, more rugged ones made of the aircraft grade aluminum. This is the brand new offering from Thrunite, the TH10, and it packs a powerful 750 lumens. Packaging on this, standard Thrunite packaging, the cardboard box, which I like. It's easy to get into, unlike, you know, this hard plastic stuff that you have to cut. Hopefully don't cut yourself in the process. But in the box here, you get some extra O-rings and an extra tail button cover. There's an extra headpiece, so this is what it uses to attach the light to your head. The straps go through there, I'll show you this. And then of course there is the instruction pamphlet manual thing. So there's the stuff that you get with the light. Let's go ahead and zoom in on the light and have a closer look at it. The light comes with this around the side of your head and over the top strap. Because this light is a little bit heavier than the plastic variants, I think this helps disperse the weight a little bit better. The strap is adjustable in the back here for the circumference, and then up in the front here for over the top of your head. Here's the piece. They give you an extra one of these pieces. The strap wraps through here and then over the top here. This is kind of a neoprene rubber. It's pretty comfortable up against your head because it's nice and flexible, unlike, say, this one. And I didn't have any problems with the comfort of this one, but this one is all plastic, not flexible at all. So this one is nice because it's a little bit more flexible. It's going to mold to your head a little bit better. The strap does come through here and over the top there. The way the light is affixed into this piece is that it just goes through these two sort of holes or holsters here. Because of the way it sits in there, the light is adjustable. Initially, before I figured that out, I wondered if whatever ratcheting mechanism the light was in there with would eventually come loose. But because it's held in there with friction by the rubber, you can position the light at any angle you want and it will stay there, no problem. The light is run by either a single 18650 battery, which is here, or you can use two CR123s. Goes in that way, springs there, and there are O-rings there. Tighten that on down. On the side here, there are, I guess if you want to call those heat sinks, like maybe they're a little bit of heat sinks to help disperse some of the heat. And then up in here, there is the Cree XML2 LED, and it will power this light, like I said, up to 750 lumens. Really a lot brighter than you're probably going to need for a hiking light. It has a little bit of a textured reflector in there. And this light, the way it's set up, it's a very focused hotspot. I'll show you outside later. One of the things, if I could change about this light, I might like it to have a little bit more of a diffuse beam. The modes on this, one of the nice things about this light is that it's so simplistic to use. One of the things with this light is that there's one button up here, but there's a bunch of different various lights that you can use, and I could never quite master which it was to get the different lights. Always kind of had to sort of sort it out. But with this, with the Thrunite, it's very simplistic. The way it works is if you long press it, it goes into a moonlighting mode. 0.2 lumens for 65 days. Those of you that have heard my previous videos, I love the moonlight mode because when your eyes are adjusted in the dark, when I was in Nepal, in the tea houses, there was no electricity, and at night your eyes are adjusted. 0.2 lumens is surprisingly bright. Short press, it goes into the low, 11 lumens for 107 hours. Long press, it's going to go up into medium, 172 lumens for 9 hours. It always just defaults back to the low after it's been on for a while, just like all the other Thrunite lights. But then it goes up into the high, 490 lumens for 178 minutes. From here you can double click, and that takes it into the turbo, 750 lumens for 118 minutes. And then once you're in the turbo, if you double click again, it goes into that SOS, 750 lumens for 180 minutes. And then back off, and it comes back on to whatever the last setting was, in that case the high, and then back down to low. So I really like the simplicity of the setup of this. It's very easy. It's on this, again, every time I reuse it, I have to try and re-remember how it works. My brain just doesn't work that well. But on this, it's very simplistic. It's very easy to figure out, even if you haven't used the light in a little bit. Weight of this, 132 grams. That's without the battery. It's IPX8 rated, so it's going to be tough. You know, these plastic ones, I really never had a problem with it. I'm not hard on my headlights. I'm not falling and bashing my head all the time. So I'm not sure if they really need to be aircraft grade aluminum IPX8 rated, but if you are stuck out in the elements, if you're stuck out in a snowstorm or a rainstorm with your headlamp, you're not going to need to worry about the waterproofness of this because it's going to tackle it just fine. No need to worry there. I've worn this around for a while. It is a little bit heavier than the plastic counterparts, but really the weight is distributed pretty well, and because of this nice flexible malleable neoprene rubber forehead piece, it's really pretty comfortable. Price on this, $39.95. I'll throw a link to Amazon down in the description below. Now let's go ahead and throw this on and have a look at it outside. Let's have a look at this light out in the dark here. I'll go ahead and put it on, and we'll start in the moonlight mode. This is going to be fine up close if your eyes are adjusted. If you're inside somewhere, again, I always harp on the moonlight mode, but the moonlight mode is so useful if you're somewhere, especially inside, if you're in a tent, if you're in the, like the tea houses I was in Nepal. My most used light was my little Thrunite TI3 that had the moonlight mode was like a half a lumen. I use that a ton. So I love the moonlight mode on lights for where you're just up close, you're doing some simple stuff in a dark room. From the moonlight, go into the low. You can see here, this is going to be fine for a lot of things. You might want it just a little bit brighter if you're out hiking. It's up onto the medium there. Again, kind of depending on where you're hiking. If you're hiking somewhere where you need to see more brighter stuff or more far out there. And then up onto the high. And you can see the beam of this is really focused. It's got a lot of throw to it. See it on the ground there. Really focused hotspot. Double click up into the turbo. I don't notice a huge difference between the high and the turbo because there's not that much space between them, but turbo is, again, quite bright, quite focused beam. You're going to get a lot of throw with this light. And then from the turbo, if you double click, it goes into that SOS. And then back down to the low. I think the one thing if I could change about this light is that the beam is so focused for a hiking light. I think I might like it to be a little bit more diffuse. There is a decent amount of flood, a little bit of spill, but the hot spot is very focused in the middle. So I'd like them to have a light that has a little bit more flood to it. Again, if you're hiking so you can see off to the side of the path really well. But again, for this being their first foray into the headlamp, this is really a pretty nice light. It's not that heavy. It's got a ton of throw, a ton of brightness. More than you're probably going to need. So check this one out, the Thrunite TH10